again on my regular page. Okay, but whatever. I'm just gonna keep going. But apparently, West Virginia is the poster child for opioid crisis. I did not know this. So we're going to talk about West Virginia for just a minute because the numbers were so shocking, so shocking. So in 2006 in West Virginia, 16.2 deaths per 100,000 was the number at that time, okay? But by 2016, it was 52 deaths per 100,000. That is a lot of people. 52 deaths per 100,000 is a lot. In any number is definitely an epidemic. But as you know, West Virginia is not the only state. Almost all states, none of the states is immune to this craziness that's going on. So it was already well above the country average at 16.2. So you can imagine when it's 52, what to call that? I guess a tsunami, right? Okay, so apparently OxyContin is the drug of choice in that area. And most people who were using it were under the age of 50. And apparently they were mixing OxyContin with other things like Valium and other stuff, either for pain medicine or just to feel better or whatever. As we remember from last week, we talked about the definition of addiction was a situation where someone is either taking something or behaving or engaging in a behavior that at the beginning was good and the desired effect was there, but then the more you keep on taking the medicine or the more you continue with the behavior, it now becomes detrimental. And so if you didn't see that video, please go back and watch that video, okay? But yeah, so that was the definition of addiction. And so now we're here. You have now a compelling need to use that thing, to take it more and more, and you're getting what we call tachyphylaxis, which means the more you take it, the less the effect. So you're taking more and more higher doses, okay? So apparently in West Virginia, still continuing, about $8 billion were spent on drugs just in 2016 alone, on combating this epidemic, in 2016 alone, on trying to treat it, for law enforcement, because as you can imagine, whenever there's addiction, there's also crime, lost jobs, productivity, and apparently thousands and thousands of children were put in foster care because either their parents died or their parents died. It's like, it's terrible. This is just such a bad, just the numbers were just so alarming. I was like, oh my God, I got to share that. So that's West Virginia, the poster child for opioid epidemic. It's just a terrible thing. So what are opioids? You want to know, right? I know you want to know that. So first and foremost, they are medications. They are good in quotes because they're actually used to treat short-term pain. So you can use them for short-term pain. However, not for long-term, and one would get to that later on. Some examples of opioids are heroin, the big kahuna, Dilaudid, fentanyl, which is a synthetic form of opioid, codeine, Narco, Demerol, Percocet, OxyContin, morphine, and some others that remain unknown, right? Because they start mixing them and start, lacing and things like that. So if you have any of those medications that I named for you now, and it's been more than 4 days since it was prescribed to you, stop watching this video right now, go to your medicine cabinet and get them out and flush them. I did something similar to that about an hour ago, not because I had those medicines necessarily, but I was just like, you know what, I might as well just clean out my cabinet. So stop watching me. Yes, it's okay. Go and do that and then come back. And I'll tell you why you need to do that right now if it's been more than 3 or 4 days since your doctor gave it to you, okay? All right. Then the next thing we want to talk about is why are these drugs, why this particular class of drugs, why do they cause addiction? Why do people get addicted very fast to this particular group of medication? So the main thing is the mode of action is by crossing what we call the blood-brain barrier, which is just crossing into the brain. Let's just put it that way, okay? Just easier said. It just gets into the brain, but it gets very, very fast, and it binds. It binds with the dopaminergic neuroreceptors and make you feel euphoric, happy. So you're not able to feel your pain. It kind of changes the way you feel the pain and the way you react to the pain. But you feel so good about it. You're almost like, hallelujah. Did I just sing? Therefore, you're not able to feel the pain, okay? You like it. and then you try it again, you like it some more. So anyway, that's the problem. That's the problem. You now like it too much, and hence the word addiction. And then after 3 or 4 days, when you're supposed to stop taking it, what do? You continue to take it and you start asking for more. When I was in South Carolina, I had a lot of people used to come with cough, needing cough medicine. But no, that one doesn't work for him. The only one that works for him is the one that has codeine in it. Y'all know yourselves. Y'all know yourselves. As a matter of fact, Nigeria, my beloved country, is dealing with a major health crisis right now from cough medicine addiction. So you know what they did? When they banned it and made it hard for them to sell it here, they took it to the third world countries. Yes. You know, you can't trust these people. They make money and they, you know what? I have an article that I'm going to hopefully share with you guys if we have enough time. It's called Merchants of Death. Merchants of Death. That's what the drug companies are doing. When the medicine is banned in the developed countries, they take it to the developing countries like yours and mine. And if you're a Nigerian and you're watching me, please say something, okay? Okay, just say something. Just say something. Anyway, so next thing, let me see. These so they bind very quickly and they act very quickly and they get you going very quickly, and then of course the effect comes down. But you like the effect so much you want to keep on, you just want it to keep on going. So that's why you kind of become addicted. And also last week we talked about the fact that genetic factors are responsible for that. Apparently there's some genes that make one person more predisposed to another person. Another reason you need to know this is because you need to tell your doctor your history. So if your doctor knows that your mom has a history of, you know, easily being addicted, maybe they don't need to give you that medicine at all. We'll talk about that later, okay? Environmental factors, like I said, your little son or your teenager, whoever finds your medicine, or their friends are using it, and therefore, oh, just try it. Oh, just try it. It makes me feel better in a minute, and your pain is gone, you know? So it says on my personal page that I have 6 people viewing. Thank you so much. I just can't see anyone on my personal page today. I'm not sure what's going on. So who gets opioid addiction? Who? Well, apparently everyone, right? Adults, mothers, fathers, CEOs, cleaners, doctors, pharmacists, enemies, friends, you name it. Everyone gets addicted to opioids. Teenagers, even babies get addicted to opioids. You know how babies get addicted to the opioids? Their mamas when they're pregnant. And you wonder why I'm talking about this as a pediatrician. If babies and teenagers and young adults are getting it, who do you think should be talking about it? Me, right? So like I said, rich people, poor people, whoever. And of course, socio-cultural factors. Like apparently, now this was news to me because I watched a town hall meeting that took place, I think it was in San Diego in 2017, where a bunch of really like top-notch people was. There was a neuroscientist, there was the former Surgeon General during Obama's time, there was just another doctor from the CDC representative, there was a pharmacist, there was a movie maker, and I'm going to talk about the movie maker later on. So apparently, those people were at a town hall meeting, right? And what happened was they were asking them questions, and then they now came out with the truth of how did we get here? How did this opioid epidemic start happening? How? So apparently in the late 90s, like I said, 1999, remember I mentioned 1999 earlier on, this pharmaceutical company called Purdue Pharma had done some research and falsified the numbers and then announced clearly that, oh, you can prescribe OxyContin all you want. It's not as addictive. It's maybe 1 or 2% addictive, you know, so barely, not even is negligible. Just write it as much as you want. So it was more for money, hence the Merchants of Death article. So they were like, oh, doctors, write it. And then they got doctors, they got pharmacists, they paid them well, and they were just writing and writing. But then I realized one thing, because somebody had asked the question, but wait, why is it only, like maybe not now, but then, why was it that only white people were getting addiction to heroin? Why just white people? And then the truth came out, because apparently, and this is true, and you can quote me on this because actually The former Surgeon General said that himself. You can quote me on this one. So apparently, in those days, what the doctors were doing was when a black person comes with pain and the white person comes with pain, they give the black person a less potent pain medication. Yes, I did not know this. They give it to the black folk, like, you guys, you know, your pain is not even real, it's not even that serious. So here, take this not so good pain medicine. Oh, the white people, oh, here, take this relatively good, better pain medicine. Unbeknownst to them, addiction.com, right? And then nobody thought about it until 2003 when they noticed that teenage opioid addiction was on the rise. They were like, wait, what's going on? Why are these teenagers getting addicted to opioids? What's going on? What's going on? And then they said, oh, wait a minute. After they looked into it, they found out that it wasn't just the teenagers, it was everybody across all ages. And apparently, West Virginia specifically, there was a doctor called Dr. Diane Schaefer who wrote 118,445 opioid prescriptions between 2002 and 2009. On average, she saw, is what they wrote on this article, she saw 113 patients every day. On average, she saw 113 patients every day that she wrote the prescriptions for. Federal agents seized, and this article, by the way, came out December 7, 2018, 2 days ago, okay? So federal agents seized $600,000 from this lady and it was divided among safe deposits, bank accounts, cash scattered around her office. She was sentenced to 6 months in jail, and the rest goes on. That's just one piece, right? So like I said earlier on, most initial contact is from the doctors. I mean, think about it. Opioids are not over the counter, or at least once upon a time they were not. I don't know what happens now, but they've never been over the counter as far as prescription. Therefore, you have to have it written by a doctor like me for you to get it, or a dentist, or a pain doc, or whoever you see, right? And so they get these medicines, and then you're supposed to give them Aprenica. We're going to talk about that later, for short-term pain control. But what were folks doing? They were giving it to them for 3 months. Is that short term? No. 3 to 5 days is short term. And that's the only way to monitor it, because that way, after 3 to 5 days, if you come back to me for more, I'm like, okay, no more OxyContin here. Take some Motrin or something. Let's monitor, okay? But nobody was doing that. Here, take this for 3 months, and then of course, they were selling them on the streets. It's about $40 to $100 a pill. $40 to $100 per pill. A hell of a chunk of dough, just billion-dollar industry, okay? Just went crazy like that. And so, oh yeah, I just thought that was interesting about the racial, should I call it discrimination? I don't know, you tell me. But anyway, and now, due to Donald Trump's administration cutting, slashing healthcare for people, guess what? A lot of people who have addiction problems can't even get quality health care. Oh, no, but no, wait. He pumped $2 billion into just heroin and opioid. Really? Really? Well, don't you know that it's a multifaceted thing? Addiction is not just the pill that you're taking. It's also the counseling. It's also the having a good doctor, having the support from your family, from your community. It's not just, here, take my health insurance, but give me $2 billion to investigate and do research. Yeah, and you know what the former Surgeon General said? He said it's like taking your car, that's what he said, taking your car and giving you a bike and telling you to go and ride to wherever you're going and make sure you get there at the same time. Like, seriously? So, I mean, let's just face it. A lot of social cultural problems. Besides the fact that people generally just an attitude towards addiction. I know I've been guilty of that in the past. Like, oh my God, it's because you want to do it, But apparently, the latest thought process now is that it's a disease. It's actually a brain disease, like I don't know, depression, dementia, or anything else. And there are genetic predispositions. However, if you know, like I said before, if you know your history, then maybe, just maybe, you can help. Let me see what. Flushing them into the sewer system gets the drug into the public system. That is true. Take them back to government. Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Wildlife is being found Yeah, I know, but more than that, there are more things happening to more people than even wildlife. So that is true, but that is very true. So don't flush it down, take it to your pharmacy, do what you have to do. I flush down regular medication, not opioids, but still, regardless. But in the worst case scenario, I'd rather you flush it down the system if that's what's going to save your 13-year-old from finding it. I mean, at this point, it's going to be 6 or half a dozen, but you just have to do what you got to do to get it out. Bury it, whatever. I don't care, but just don't leave it there if it's been past 3 to 5 days since it was written. Okay. Then, of course, like anything else that has to do with addiction, there's always a stigma. There's always going to be a stigma for seeking care. And because of the stigma, people don't want to seek care, first of all, for their addiction. And secondly, they don't want to seek care for treatment of their addiction. Okay. So like anything else in life, once there's a stigma attached to it, we're in serious trouble. Okay. Hi, Marty. I can only see you today. I'm not able to see anyone else. But I thought it was interesting that they've named the stigma associated with addiction and really mental health, if you want to ask me, as the number one public enemy. The number one enemy of public health. The stigma, not even the medication. The stigma, because think about it, it is the biggest barrier. Oh God, my son is addicted to opioids. I'm ashamed to go to the doctor because I'm a doctor. My son shouldn't be. It doesn't matter. Get him help. Right? But that's the stigma part because we're all human. Okay? So I was very happy to see that there's a movie, an HBO documentary by Miss Perry Peltz. She was actually one of the people at the roundtable at the, what do you call it, roundtable discussion that they had. And she did this movie. It's called Warning, This Drug May Kill You. They only showed snippets of the movie, but I was in awe. My mouth was like this. If you have HBO, as a matter of fact, you can stream it on your laptop. Find that movie and watch. It's a little over an hour and some change, but it is amazing. Just seeing it, just seeing people. There was a picture, like a shot of a guy, I think a girl and a guy that was in the car. The baby was in the back seat, in the car seat. Both of them were out, like not sleeping. They had gone to see God. They just pulled over and gone, both of them. And then there's a story here on this Merchants of Death where they mentioned a gentleman. They said American Overdose, I guess is an article, also provides riveting accounts of the victims and villains of opioid crisis. A single pill, Mr. McGriddle, I guess he was the author, writes, killed Jerome Butler, a 28-year-old African-American. Okay, while smoking cannabis and drinking beer with a friend, Jerome popped a pill stamped M367, the designation for Norco. Okay, a hydrocodone prescription medication, like we talked about, like we mentioned it earlier. But guess what? It was actually fentanyl, a synthetic form. Okay, and then it was discovered by his aunt on a couch, foaming at the mouth, in cardiac arrest, and the rest is history. Just so you know, a lot of times they can even be labeled as something else because people want to make money. And they know that if you like it, you're going to come back for more. That is why I don't gamble. That is why I don't even want to buy the lottery ticket for nothing. I don't think I'm going to get addicted, but it doesn't matter because I don't want to test that theory. It's like, just avoid it because some people actually do get hooked. Find this article. It's called Merchants of Death. It's on Psychology Today. Find it. Awesome article. Okay, so let's keep going. So truth be told, right? Initially, when they started doing this thing, the doctor started writing the prescriptions. It was from a good place. It was like, you're in pain. I want to help you with your pain. Here, take this. Besides, it doesn't help that the pharmaceutical companies lied about the research that they did, lied to the doctors, to the providers, told them that it was not as addictive. I know it's not even addictive at all. It's just 1 or 2%. And so everyone was like, okay, then I guess we can write it. So in all fairness, it was coming from a good place. However, they are only effective for short term. I keep going there, short term, not long-term use. So 3 to 5 days and that's it. Not more than that. No más que esto, okay? So where do people get these opioids? Where? So we already mentioned it. From the regular doctor, from the dentist, from the from the, I don't know, pain doctors, whoever, mid-levels, whoever that can write it, whoever that can write it is writing it, right? And then we have the pure, potent, unadulterated heroin coming from Mexico, okay? So like I said before, it's not all of them that are from the prescription doctor's desk, prescribing doctor's desk. Some of them are from, like we see now, from Mexico, pure, unadulterated heroin, okay? Then of course there is synthetic. Let me tell you something about synthetic, like fentanyl, for instance. If the national lab can make it, somebody's lab at home can make it, okay? Yeah, so again, it's not only from doctors. It's not only from doctors, okay? So if all of these sources are coming at us, we have to protect ourselves. How do we, and when I say we the consumers, we the patients, how do we now protect ourselves? Okay, I have chronic pain syndrome, as you guys know. And one of the medicines that they wrote for me in the past was Percocet. I'm like, I don't want it. I didn't take it. No, I don't want it. Like, seriously, I took it for a day or two. I was drowsy. I was like, bye. You know, I don't need that. Because, you know, sometimes too is mind over matter. But that, you know, I digress. So, where do we go from here? You know, I've painted a very grim picture. Where do we go from here? I think the first thing is to realize that addiction is a brain disorder, just like depression, just like anxiety. I know you guys know I talk about depression all the time. It is a brain disorder. In other words, yes, maybe, possibly. There was a lady that was featured in that movie, had 2 babies by C-section, and the 3rd baby by C-section, the doctor gave her, I think it was Oxycontin. Within minutes, she was hooked, like literally, boom. She ended up dying from it. Even though her husband got her all kinds of rehab, she would go to the rehab place and get more medicine from there. A broken system. Oh my God. Eventually, one morning, one of her daughters went and was trying to wake her up, and she was not waking up. You know, because she had a baby, she had a C-section. They said, take this for your pain. So, but what they said was, you should take it for pain, true. But after 3 to 4 days, you need to come back and let's, you know, reconnect and see, do you need more? And if you need more, why? Is your pain not better? Do you have an infection? Is there something else? Could you have a wound dehiscence? Is there something else going on? Why is your pain not better? Are you getting addicted? Do we need to stop? You know? So anyway, needless to say, that didn't happen in her case. She got addicted and the rest is history. So realization that addiction is a brain disorder. It's a chronic illness, like I said, like diabetes or chronic liver disease, chronic kidney disease. We have to change our attitudes towards folks with addiction. You know, I do know to some extent as a mother, you can have that codependency thing going sometimes, you know, like, but that's my child, but that's where counseling comes in. That is where counseling comes in. It is not usually a choice disease. A lot of people, actually innocent teenager, went to have his tooth pulled and they gave him some Oxycontin and he got hooked. You know, a lot of people innocently just happened to be in the path and they were given the medicine for a good reason and then they got hooked, okay? So doctors, we have to change how we prescribe the medications to decrease the circulation. Just doing a little bit. We now know obviously that there are other ways to get it, but we don't want to add to it. It's like recycling, right? I know many people don't recycle, but I believe that Mother Earth needs to be saved. So what do? I recycle. And that's what I'm talking about, okay? So indeed, we can't stop it now. We're here, but we should not add to it, I think is what I want to say. So doctors, just know how you're prescribing it and just keep a check on how many pills you're giving, who you're giving it to. I mean, it's a whole science. You know, look it up, okay? Again, I'm not your doctor and I'm not your counselor. I'm just giving information out there. Let's teach the patients about the side effects and what to expect and what not to expect, where to store the medicine, where not to store the medicine, how to handle the medicine if it's in your house. You know, one of the things that drew me to this article, the name of the article is Merchants of Death, but the subtitle was Opioid Prescriptions Made Medicine Cabinets More Dangerous Than Cars. I thought that was such a neat way to get people's attention. Your medicine cabinet is potentially now more dangerous than your car. And that's assuming that you don't have seatbelts, you're going fast or whatever, all the things that come with that. But to me, I just kind of liken it to like having a gun in the house. If your child finds it, they can use it, and if they use it, they can get in trouble, right? So just don't keep it in your house, Okay? After 3 or 4 days, get rid of it. And do what Ellie says. She says, don't flush it out. So don't flush it, okay? But just don't leave it there. As far as I'm concerned, just don't leave it there. Do what you gotta do, but don't leave it there. Take it back to your pharmacy, she said, okay? Then let me see, what else? And as far as patients, as we the consumers, patients, I would say, if your doctor says, I'm giving you some pain medicine, stop right there and ask the doctor, what is the name of the medicine? What are the side effects? How long do I need to take it? Can I become addicted to it? Trust me, you want to ask those questions. And like I said about antibiotics, when you ask the doctor, that changes the dynamics right there. That makes the doctor also stop, take a deep breath, and explain it to you. And also, right there, it reminds him that he or she is playing a role in this whole thing, and that you are aware. Okay, and you can also ask, like I tell them, you can say, can we get something else that's not an opioid? You can also ask that. Okay, just ask. You might even receive, right? So if you must, share your family history. My uncle has a history of addiction to pain pills. Just come out and say it. Maybe I don't want to try to. Can I try? Can I have something else? And there always is something else. This is America, Jack. There's always something else. Let me see. For parents, go to your kids' rooms and look around. Look around. Find out if there are some random pills lying around. As you all know, during the Halloween time, there's always stories about random pills that are kind of floating around in the guise of candy. Do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Make sure also that your doctor is giving you the medicine for 3 to 5 days, short term, that's it, okay? And I can't see my time. I don't know how long I've been on, 34 minutes. Okay, so I'm almost done. So that's good. I like it. I'm so sorry to everybody right now. I can't read anyone's comments. I don't know what's going on, but thank you for listening, right? Okay, so we're talking about opioids. If you join me, I know I'm a bit disjointed today because that thing wasn't working. All right, so what are the CDC guidelines? The CDC website is a place to go for all things information medical, right? So first of all, it says, give only the minimum amount as needed. That's right. Give only the minimum, as doctors, only the minimum amount of medication that is needed for pain control, okay? Start low and go slow. I love that slogan. Write it down if you have to, okay? Tell them we don't store these things here. Don't be trying to break into our pharmacy, into wherever we are. We don't store them here. But if you must write it right, just start low and go slow if you must. 3 days at the most for starters. 3 days. I was even saying 3 to 5. Well, the CDC says 3 days only for starters. Do not give it for long-term use. Long-term use of opioids actually causes something called hyperalgesia. Well, besides tachyphylaxis, which is tolerance, it also causes hyperalgesia, where you become hypersensitive to pain. And maybe a little pain would cause a lot of reaction to you. And what does that do? That causes you to want to take more of the medication, taking a higher dose, seeking for, that spot that it hit the last time, and then, you keep going. And then what does it cause? It causes respiratory depression. Actually, that's how it causes death. It knocks out your breathing. It's pretty bad, okay? So I thought that was interesting. I want to mention that. Let me see. And then to end, basically, more training, much more training is needed, obviously. I know the First Lady is all about her opioid epidemic thing. I think she had a town hall meeting in one of the universities also, and she made some good points. Go check her out, she's your First Lady. More education is needed, more research is needed. Of course, better healthcare is needed, and just better attitudes towards addiction, period. I definitely learned a lot when I was preparing for this paper. I was like, wow, just our attitudes. And you're not even sometimes thinking about it, but you're doing it. Just our attitudes towards people who are addicted, okay? There are other non-narcotic ways of fixing this, like just therapy, like I said earlier on. There's nerve stimulations. And then for people that do yoga, there's walking, there's other ways of dealing with pain. For me, I have chronic pain. You bet your bottom dollar, I don't take any pain medicine. I just try not to. Am I in pain? Yes. But, I had 3 boys without epidural. I can handle it. Everyone is different, but I can handle it. Every now and again when it's cold, my knees really, really hurt. My joints really, really hurt. My skin really, really hurts. But I don't take the pain medicine. I just don't. I guess it's mind over matter, baby. So, end the stigma, end the stigma, end the stigma, end the stigma in the home, end the stigma in the neighborhoods, educate each one, teach one about basically, the fact that this is a chronic disease, is a brain disorder, is not usually by choice. And a lot of people, like I said, got it from their doctor innocently because they were trying to, I guess the doctor was trying to be helpful, So I think in ending, there was a quote that I wanted to, my ending quote was going to be, to do. So watch any video you can find on heroin addiction, I think is what I'll ask anyone who's watching me. Find any video online, on YouTube, wherever. Watch something about heroin addiction. Look at the faces of these people. They're like you and I, okay? See who they are, that they're normal people that just got into an unfortunate incident, okay, situation. Or if you can't watch a movie, read a story about a heroin addict and find, especially one that died from it. Know that addiction is a brain disorder. I talked about that, and therefore not by choice. So we talked about heroin addiction today, or rather opioid addiction. Heroin, of course, is the, brainchild out there. But essentially, it's a big problem. Apparently, West Virginia is the poster child for that. And deaths have quadrupled since 1999 when we first started using them, everywhere. Doctors have had a share in it. I have to come out and call us. Doctors have also been victims of it. We've also had doctors who also abuse drugs. Nurses, it's there, And apparently about 200 people a day are dying of it. That's a lot of people. About 1 every 8 minutes. That is a lot of people. It is a brain disorder. It's not by choice a lot of times. It's an addiction. And so maybe empathy and compassion, like we talked about a couple of videos ago, is what we need to practice. Let me see. So I think that's all I had today. Again, I apologize for those on my regular page. I could not see anyone. I apologize. So next week, we're going to take on something different. I was going to just do an addiction series, but I had an article that I posted on my page yesterday about a 10-year-old boy who was gay, who said he liked boys, let me put it that way, and his stepfather killed him in California. Apparently, amongst many, many, many things he did to the boy, he hit his head 10 times on the ground. And the boy got probably herniated and died. I can't even. So we're going to talk about LGBT next week. We have to talk about it. I wasn't going to talk about it yet because I wanted to finish addiction, but no, we have to talk about it. I cannot believe that in this world where people are looking for children, people don't have kids. You have a child, and because he's gay, because your Bible or whatever it is that you listen to or believe in tells you that that child is somewhat defective, you kill the child? I think the guy got death sentence or life. I don't know what he got, but I don't think it's enough. Whatever he got is not enough. So we're going to talk about LGBT next week, okay? And other than that, as you know, I'm on all the social media networks. I am also on my blog. I need y'all to subscribe to my blog. You will love it. You'll love the stories. I got someone actually gave me a beautiful feedback yesterday about my ride sharing. She was like, oh my gosh, she's a nurse practitioner. She's been looking for something else to do for extra money. And she saw that I drive Uber. I'm like, go for it, girl. I love my Uberizing. I love my blog has a little bit there on, I think it's called Tales from the Ride Share Seat or something. I have a new one coming out actually because I did some Ubering yesterday. So yeah. My blog is called Words by Black Butterfly. Ask Dr. Lulu, Instagram, Twitter, you name it, LinkedIn. If you need a speaker at your school or at your function, kids, young adults, parents, it doesn't matter. I'm your woman, okay? So thank you so much for hanging with me today. This was a heavy one. It was a little tough too. watching that video, but I did it, and I'm glad I did. So I need you guys to go out and get a video about a heroin addict and watch it, okay? And I'll see you all next Sunday. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. I'm trying to wear my festive colors. Did you see that? For the holidays. I will see you all next week. God bless you. Peace. I can never get this to work. Okay. Oh, look at all those people. Oh my God. Now I see them. All right, I'm going to take 2 extra seconds to say hello. All my peeps. I see Felicia Arrington, Marty. Hi, sweetheart. Elise, of course. Marta John, thank you for joining. Janice Lake. Good girl. Spunky Silva, Janice Lake, some more. Yinka Ogunjui Bay. I got that. Chris Galadima. Hey, boy. How are you? Stephanie Tweedy, my girl. Adriana Jefferson, Carly Nicole Foster, Angela Finn, Elizabeth Anyegu Onura. Thank you so much for joining me, Vivian. Hi, sweetie. Nenengweke. I did not realize that I could see people because the first time I did it, I couldn't see anyone. So, hi, everyone. Bye, everyone. See y'all next Sunday, okay? Oh, God. Me and technology.